Hello and welcome to Alabama Cooking with Chef Lorious. I'm Chef Lorious, the California girl with an Alabama flair for cooking. So glad to have you with me today. If you're already a subscriber, good to see you again. If you're new here, go ahead, hit that subscribe button down there. And either way, if you're new or if you've already subscribed, make sure you hit that little bell next to it so you're notified every time a new video comes out. Otherwise, you won't know. It'll be the luck of the draw if you figure it out. So make sure you hit the bell, guys, so you know what's going on right here in Alabama Cooking with Chef Lorious. So I'm excited. Today we are making a standing rib roast. A lot of you have been asking me to make this, and a lot of people get intimidated because it's a large cut of meat. I'm not going to use a huge one today, but it is a pretty decent sized cut of meat. It is not difficult to make a standing rib roast. You're going to see step by step. I'm going to show you how to do it. Just take a deep breath. You can do it. All right, let's jump right in. Standing rib roast. All right, guys, first things first, let's talk about our cut of meat. You're going to be using a beef ribeye roast. Sometimes it will say beef rib roast, sometimes beef ribeye roast, but either way, it's a beef rib roast, and sometimes it just says standing rib roast. What makes it standing is that it comes all together in one large piece like this. This is a 4.5 pound beef ribeye roast, and this is boneless. As you can see, there's no bone here. If you get one with the bone in it, the bone does a lot to add to the flavor, but it also adds to the cooking time. Additionally, having the bone in the meat makes the cut of meat more expensive because it's sold by the weight. Okay, either one is good. I'm using a boneless today because I just felt like it doesn't take as long to cook a boneless, to be honest with you, but either way is fine. It's up to you. All right, guys, let's jump in and let's start making our herb crusting. Let's start on our herb crusting. We have equal parts of rosemary, thyme, parsley, and basil. These are the basic herbs that are going to make up our herb crusting. I'm also going to add into that some minced garlic, okay? And we're going to use some olive oil. The olive oil is going to help turn this into a paste-like consistency. So I'm using about 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm going to drizzle as I go and mix it up. See there? The reason I'm using dry herbs is because dry herbs are actually stronger than herbs that are fresh. I will use fresh herbs in the pan that we roast them in, but we will use dry herbs for the crust. I'll use a little more olive oil in there. So we want this to be like a paste. It's going to stick to our meat. And we're going to add a little over ½ a tablespoon of salt. And last but not least, we're going to add a tablespoon or a half of fresh cracked pepper. I'm not doing too much pepper because I don't want this to become over like a peppery roast. You can do definitely a peppercorn roast, but this is more about the herbs. Okay, that looks good. You see the consistency there? See, it's pasty, and don't worry about these herbs. It's going to make a beautiful crusting on our roast as we cook it. Here's our beautiful piece of meat here. We should name this something, you guys. I don't know. Tell me in the comments section below. Suggest some names for this lovely piece of beef that we're using here, and we'll see what the winner is at the end of the video. All right, I like to, before I put my herb crusting on here, I like to stud my meat with garlic. So what I have here is some garlic cloves. These are whole garlic cloves. I've cut them up, see? They're still in big chunks, but that's okay. I've cut them up. And I'm going to stud these throughout the meat. Now, I'm not a fancy chef, so I'm sure there's a better way to do this. But when we cook at home, this is what we do. I put my knife in and I wiggle it around. See that? See that? That's all I'm doing. And this is not a super sharp knife. This is actually just a steak knife. Then I take some of this garlic and I stick it down in there. Just like that. See that? And I do this all throughout the meat. So as the meat is cooking, this garlic will roast into the beef. See this? Now I'm sure there's prettier ways to do it, but I'm telling y'all this works. See there? And when you cut the meat, this garlic will just cut with it, and you can eat the garlic with it because it will be roasted garlic at that point, or you can set them aside. It's up to the individual person how they want it. And just stick them in there. It's not going to mess anything up. Okay? And use a lot of it. Don't get worried. Nothing's going to go wrong. It's going to be a good flavorful piece of meat. Make sure that you have the fat on the top. Okay guys, make sure that so it stands like this. See that? Okay. Now I don't recommend putting a garlic clove right here in the middle because this is where we're going to put our meat thermometer, okay? And you don't want the meat thermometer to have to go over here or over here. You really want it in the center of the meat. So don't stick a garlic clove right there. Oh, that looks good, doesn't it, guys? Now you know what else we can do? You can just take the side, go up on the bottom. Stick a few in here too. See that nice marbling? This is going to be delicious. So she is very well studded, or he is very well studded with garlic. Now we're going to turn it back over. And then on the bottom of the roast, I like to take fresh herbs. Real herbs. This is some rosemary, some thyme, some basil leaves. There's some tarragon in here. And I like to just take these and place them underneath my roast just like this. So this flavor will bake into the roast as well. And this will also form the jus that we're going to have once it's done. Then I take whatever extra garlic cloves I had and I place them around also. Just like this. I'm telling you guys, this is a foolproof recipe. And now we're going to rub her down. We're going to take a little bit of olive oil. Put it there too. Oh, I need to get some more olive oil. Okay. We'll get some more. We're going to put her down just like that. Okay, so see, we've got our herbs on the bottom, our garlic on the bottom, and now we're going to get our herb crusting. I'm going to take this and literally just lay it on our meat. Just like this. See that? And this is going to bake with the meat on the top, and it's going to be delicious. And when you finish cooking the meat, sometimes you can even take the crust off if someone doesn't want it or whatever, but these herbs will still be just delicious seasoning and flavoring that go into the jus you make. Now I like to also crust the sides. Okay, so I'll take the sides, crust them, like this, and then rub it in. Spread it out and rub it in, like this. Okay, and if you need more because your meat is bigger than the size of the rub that we made, that's fine. Just add another tablespoon of herbs and a little bit more olive oil and some more salt and pepper. See there? See, she's covered. Just like that. Doesn't that look delicious, guys? See that? We've got some of that crusting here. Okay, you could definitely go all the way. See, I just get a little bit more, push it up here. And we've got these herbs on the bottom that we're cooking with it. Just spread it around. I'm gonna turn it for you. See here? Got this on the side, see? She's all covered up. So now that we've fully covered our meat, we're going to take a meat thermometer. This is a meat thermometer, okay? You can use a digital meat thermometer or a regular one, it doesn't matter. You want to stick it into the middle of the meat, like this. Now it's important if you're using a bone-in roast that you do not let the thermometer touch the bone, because the bone will be hotter than the meat and it'll throw off your readings, okay? Make sure that you turn it so you can read the thermometer readings. And sometimes this one has a nice little guide here. I'm going to put a guide up next to it so we can see how far you want to cook it, and it depends on what you want and how done you like your beef. I will ask you though, for me, please don't make it well done. This is a beautiful looking piece of meat. How do you like your steak? Do you like it rare, medium rare, well, medium well? Tell me in the comments below how you like to eat your steak, because I'm very curious to see. And you're going to bake it on the lower rack of your oven. So when you go in your oven, there's usually 2 racks. Take out the middle rack and bake it on the lower rack so it's slow roast on 325. Well, here's our roast out of the oven. It took about 2.5 hours to cook because this is only a 4.5 pound roast. I've cooked this to 140 degrees. You can't see this, it's pretty small, and I'm not gonna try to lift it up. I did that because I want the internal temperature to get to about 150 to 155. That's medium, and that's where we like to eat our steaks. Now, when you take the roast out of the oven, it needs to stand for about 20 minutes without you cutting it so all the juices can reabsorb and soak in there really good, and also it will continue cooking during that time. time. Now, this olive oil we had down here at the bottom and the juices from the steak, that fat, have cooked together. See these herbs that we put in here? We're going to remove these because you're not going to eat this, okay? We're going to remove these, but the flavor from these herbs has cooked into all of this down here, and these drippings are what you can use to make your gravy. They can be used in your dinner rolls if you're making dinner rolls. You can do really anything with these drippings, and the meat is going to be so juicy and tender itself. Oh, guys, this is delicious. Look at that. Look at that. See how beautiful that crust is? See? Okay, so let's let this rest for about 20 minutes and then we'll slice into it and we'll be ready for dinner. Okay, so our meat has rested, and if you'll notice, first thing I want you to see is that the temperature has gone up to 158 degrees, which is good. That's right at medium where we want it. That's what I was explaining to you. Okay, I'm gonna try to slice a little bit of it here so we can see. Oh, that looks good. Look at that, guys. This is how we like our steak around here. Look at that. Is that not beautiful? Oh, I can't wait to try it. And look at the fat in there is giving it nice flavor. Okay, let's see. Let's just, okay, I'm sorry I put it on top of the crust. See that? The crust is still there. I'm gonna drop that. Oh man, this looks delicious, guys. I'm gonna take a little piece here and taste. Okay guys, I've cut that steak that we were just looking at. Look at this delicious piece here. Oh. Mmm. This is so good. It's cooked to perfection. All right guys, that's it. I told you, prime rib, standing rib roast is easy to make. We've got step-by-step instructions. You can do it. I will see you guys next time. Go ahead, subscribe if you haven't already. Have a wonderful day and happy cooking.